Good morning, natural gas. It's Thursday, June the 11th, 2026. I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. And for the spot July natural gas contract, we're currently down. We're currently trading at 3.10 and 7 ticks, down 7.8 cents or 2.45%. Today is storage day. Expectations around plus 100 BCF. That compares to last year's plus 110, the 5-year average plus 95. So it should be bearish relative to last year, but bullish, bullish relative to last year, bearish relative to the 5-year average. Gotta flip that around. Anyway, let's take a look. The RSI is turning lower again. This is profit taking against a possible upward surprise for storage. And here's the daily pivot. We are below today's daily pivot at 316.90 here. We're holding above first support at 308.80. The RSI is quite low, looking to turn to the upside should it get a neutral or bullish storage report. Let's take a look at the front to back spreads, and this is Jan versus December. This is the Jan spread, as we like to call it here. It's up just 4 ticks right now at 40.9 cents. The RSI is trying to turn higher here again. So let's take a look at what that means here for ERCOT. And ERCOT right now, we've got high renewables today, going to be over 50,000 megawatts of capacity for renewables, both solar and wind. And our forecast is going to be just below 80,000 megawatts in the grid today. Right now, natural gas is pulling over 32% of the fuel mix because wind is starting to die down a little bit and solar is just starting to kick in. Let's take a look at the heat risk. And as you can see, we've got extreme heat risk here for over 330,000 people today. This continues tomorrow into the weekend, really starting to get very major heat risk across the south. And of course, the extreme risk starts to jump up over to 3 million people on Saturday and Sunday as that extreme heat risk is in South and North Carolina. But as we get into next week, Monday starts to ease up pretty well here. The heat is confined to the very tip of Southeast Florida and, of course, the West here. And that continues on Tuesday into Wednesday. And as you can see here, most of the heat is contained in the interior West of the United States. Let's take a look at the anomaly maps. And this is also going to show up here. As you can see, as we go through the forecast period, that cooler weather starts to come in, kicks that extreme heat out of the country here in the southeast, except for Florida. And then we see the heat building up yet again in the west. So this is going to be a repeating pattern here of oscillating cooler temperatures, then heat building up, then extreme heat, and then we get some cooler temperatures once again. This looks like this may be the El Nino forming pattern. And here is that weather map here as we go through the forecast period. Let's start it up again. As you can see, we start getting some whites on the map here. This is the 90s to 100s here. We see the heat building up in the interior west, as you can see here, 105 in the Central Valley for California, 110 in Phoenix, Arizona. As we go through the forecast period, you can see there is some 70s across the eastern coast here. But then, as you can see, warmer temperatures start to show up here. This is June 21st, 10 days out. And look, it's well into the 90s in Texas. Interior west here is very hot. We're starting to see 80s up across the southeast. As we go through the forecast period here, 90s start showing up in the southeast. So we've got this pattern here of keeping it relatively cool in the upper Midwest and New England, but the temperatures are starting to warm up here across the south. Let's take a look at Europe, and this is in Celsius here. So unfortunately, we don't have the Fahrenheit maps. WX is still down, but this is tropical tidbits. And as you can see here, these are warmer temperatures here. This is June 22nd, very warm across the African continent right now and into India, but relatively cool upper part of Europe here. The Iberian Peninsula is warm. France is getting warm as well. We'll start to see that continue as we start seeing summer-like temperatures. Across the EU, 43% full. The injections are pretty close to the 5-year average, although, again, we start seeing some problems here with our problem child here, Great Britain. As you can see, still below the minimum for the 5-year average here. Injections are just about average. So somebody better wake up. And here is Asia. And as you can see, also on June 22nd, about 10 days out here, or 11 days out right now, you can see this is Shanghai. So warmer temperatures here in the midsection of China. To the south around Hong Kong, it's not so bad. Again, Japan here and the Koreas are doing also fairly well. And let's take a look at LNG. And here's our traveling seafarer here, Sea Eagle, and it is pushed through Jakarta, Indonesia. And look where it's going to go. That's right, that's Taiwan. So that's an interesting destination from Golden Pass all the way to Taiwan. Let's take a look at that Russian LNG tanker here. This is the Icebreaker class, and this is pushing again down the east coast of Russia. We don't know where it's going towards yet. It says for order. We expect that it is also going toward China. And let's take a look at the JKM marker here, Japan-Korea marker. And this is also up today. This is not in dollars here. This is up 1.83% here. As again, there is still conflict with the Strait of Hormuz. And let's turn to the LNG facilities in the U.S. This is Cameron LNG up to 1.424 right now out of 1.56. So doing quite well. Same thing here for Creole Trail. This is feeding Sabine Pass, one of the pipelines, and it is up to 1.568 and out of 1.7. So almost full capacity there. Corpus Christi also doing well, as you can see, almost 2.6 out of 2.75. But Freeport, not so well yet. Still about 1.315 BCF here, still has room to improve to get it to full capacity. How about Calcasieu Pass? Same thing here. Still has got plenty of capacity open, but Plaquemines is running again over nameplate capacity, over 4 BCF going into the grid right here. And Golden Pass starting to ramp up again out of maintenance season post first 2 cargoes, right? So now we're up to almost 118,000 MMBTUs for train 1. That's total capacity there of 800 to 850,000 MMBTUs, depending on weather conditions. And here is the tropical outlook here. This is for June 17th through the 23rd. And again, the real risk here is off the west coast of Mexico. So let's take a look at the Gulf. And here is some low chance of development here for a storm to form off the Bay of Campeche and then move inland, possibly toward Brownsville area here along the U.S.-Mexican border. And here is the Saharan air layer. This is going to inhibit any mid-Atlantic storm development anytime soon. As you can see, it's pushing off even yet another plume coming off the African coast. And as you can see, there's the Windward Islands are getting hit right now. Cuba, Jamaica here are also overcast here with some Saharan dust. And the drought. Well, we're making some progress here in Florida because we got some rain, and that's good news here. There's still some real exceptional drought in parts of Florida, but it is starting to narrow a little bit. There is still some developing here in North Carolina. Arkansas is still bad. Oklahoma, Panhandle, and Texas there is still bad. Colorado, Nebraska, and Idaho still getting worse out here. So the interior West getting worse. Southeast starting to get a little bit of improvement on the drought situation. How about stocks? Well, this is the oil and gas E&P sector. Stocks between $2 and $10 billion have a high short float, over 10%. And as you can see, it's a mixed bag here today. Unfortunately, because crude and natural gas prices are off, everything seems to be in the negative except for Crescent Energy. That's great. Behind me, Magnolia here is down just 0.08%. So recapping again, today is storage day. Expectations near plus 100 BCF. That goes up against last year's plus 110 and the 5-year average of plus 95. So let us go and look here at July. It is currently trading at 311.20, down 7.3 cents or just over 2.29%. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.